All right, and we're live. Josh, how we doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Dude, you have a fantastic name. Like 10 out of 10 name.
Josh? Oh yeah.
Get it? Josh and Josh. Was that too cheesy off the back?
No, that was good.
Thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, anytime.
I don't do a ton of these remote, but I'm going to start doing them more remote, so it's definitely going to be a good test to see how it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could open up your audience and open up the people that you could have on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the weird thing is like with Zoom, it comes out. I'm not sure how it's going to come out. It comes out not as high quality, I guess, which I think is why Rogan always does his in person. But, it's nothing like major. But that's why I've got this other camera going here to see if I can like mix and match the two and kind of up the editing quality. But yeah, we're just going to kind of see what happens. But anyway, like I was saying before, I've been a big fan of your music for a while. Like, I can't remember what song it was, but I remember Nick posted on his story some song, and I was like, that's fantastic. Like, that's 10 out of 10. I couldn't even believe you were his cousin. So I'm really excited to have you on. So why don't you get into a little bit about you, go through your story, just kind of who you are, how you got here today, the whole 9 yards. You got the floor, brother.
All right. Yeah, so started out, I think I started getting into music around 16. Well, back up a little bit. I've always been like in music, like my dad's a drummer. He's been in bands before. And so I've always been like around the music scene and being like, my dad brought me to a studio before and just always liked it. And so I think in 8th grade, my parents wanted me to do like an instrument and they really wanted me to do piano. So I got into piano for a while. It was all right. I mean, I enjoyed it and I learned a lot. And then, but after a while, like I didn't really like the structure of like having to practice like every day or like having to do these recitals, like feeling forced into it. So I ended up backing out of piano, got into drumming like my dad and did that for a while. But same deal, the lessons part with like the structure of having to hit each assignment and hit each, like you have to like pretty much like homework. I felt like school. So I ended up backing out of that as well and got into writing my own lyrics where it was kind of like my own pace. I was learning myself. It was a slower learning process because I was just kind of going off my favorite artists at the time and trying to learn the flow and learn how to catch the patterns on the beats and like the syncopation and all that. And so I gradually started doing that and invested like I think $100 into like a cheap computer microphone. I think my uncle gave me some like free audio software and then I just kind of made something and like put some blankets up in the back of my corner of my room and made like a makeshift, very, very cheap recording studio and just did remixes from like popular songs or just found beats online and started writing. And I mean, I kept everything very private, didn't share that with anyone. With my, like, cause obviously I didn't want to get like made fun of, or I knew I sucked at the time. So I didn't want to like put that out to the world yet. So I kept it very private and just did that for like probably 2 or 3 years. Until I moved into 11th grade. And that's where I changed schools and I had a few other people that I met in that school that did the same thing as me, like making songs and rapping and all that. So that's when I felt a little more comfortable kind of coming out and I was getting better at the time. So I started sharing my music and still got made fun of and still got
Of course, right?
obviously, I mean, I wasn't close to where I am today. I mean, I was definitely offbeat at times, off tune, all that. So I was still learning and still kind of gradually getting my sound and how I wanted to present myself. But still gave me exposure to feeling more comfortable with sharing it with people. And then that's kind of when I really started falling in love with it because I had started getting more people like in 11th and 12th grade, started getting more people as I got better, like compliment my music and support me in that sense. So I got driven to kind of build off that. And at the time when I moved to my new school, they had like this course that you could take called music production. And it was like pretty much recording and mixing and mastering, learning the basics of it in high school, which was kind of cool. So I took 2 years of that and that also helped me like really fuel my drive to pursue it as a career and pursue it in college. So I graduated high school, went to Florida, decided I was going to go to college in Florida at Full Sail University, which is like a big media and music production college. Went there, was like a 2-year accelerated program for a bachelor's degree. So it was all year round, 6 days a week. So it was pretty intense, but learned a lot and met a lot of cool people. People from across the world came there. I knew people from I don't even know, like Korea, California, Jersey, Europe. So it was really cool to like have everyone be able to like share their past and share their passion together. So that kept building my drive to want to do this music thing. And when I first went there, my main goal was to be more behind the boards and doing the mixing and mastering and helping other artists. So I was able to invest more money into a studio. I think I probably bought like a $500 microphone this time and was able to get a better interface. And the school gave you a lot of equipment as well, a part of the tuition. So I got a lot of good software applications and all that. So did that for a while, had artists come to my house and record, and I did the mixing and mastering. I was learning a lot more. But at the same time, I was doing my music on the side, and I was getting when artists come over and they heard what I was doing, they always got compliments on that, and had a few people want me to feature on their song. And I just kind of kept doing the same thing where I was helping other artists and working on my own passion until I started seeing traction from the internet with my own music. And I started kind of gradually seeing which side of the business was getting more like love. And it started out being the side where artists wanted to come and record, but quickly it changed to the fan base started to grow, and I started seeing more people post my music and really felt like I was starting to build something. So I graduated college, moved back, lived with my parents, and my dad helped me build like a studio in his basement. And that's when I recorded the song Upgraded. And when I released Upgraded, I wasn't really expecting anything. And it got like traction from this big YouTube channel called Swaggy Tracks. And that kind of sparked the whole thing where I think it got 1 million streams or 1 million YouTube views in probably like a month or so. And I ended up like before that, I started releasing songs on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. Shortly before that, luckily I did, because before, like years before, I probably for like the first 5 or 6 years I was doing music, I was only releasing to like SoundCloud or YouTube. But I finally decided, with like the industry becoming easier to get on those platforms with like DistroKid and TuneCore and CD Baby and all that, I decided to like release some music on Spotify. So luckily I released Upgraded on Spotify because with the YouTube traction, it generated a lot of streams for my Spotify. And that kind of what kicked off the following on my Spotify account and my Apple Music, and started growing it from there. And that's when I just completely ended after that song took off, I completely ended like the mixing and mastering side for other artists and dedicated my time to create my own music and build these relationships with blogs and music promotion platforms, because I could see that's like the new way to get your music heard and new way to really grow as an artist. And when I started about, I think it was in 2016, I think when I started like sparking, that was kind of like the height of the YouTube like underground artist promotion world. So we had like Logic getting posted on that site. We had Russ starting to get posted on that site. And they were all like smaller at the time. Obviously Logic was a lot bigger than I am now, but still he was not as mainstream, and he was getting posted on like Swaggy Tracks and those music promotion sites, and it was always generating a ton of views. So being chosen and being recognized during that time was a lot more valuable than being recognized during this time, where it's like all saturated, very saturated with like all these different YouTube channels creating the same idea and kind of the whole music industry moving off of YouTube. So that's really what pushed me to like continue growing music. And I mean, I just dedicated my time, wrote for like, I think 2016. So it was like 3 or 4 more years. And in 2018, I released the song Don't Know Love, which is like my number one right now. It got posted on another YouTube called Promoting Sounds, and I think it's at like 7 million on Promoting Sounds, and then it's at like almost 10 million on my Spotify and all that. So that's really what drove my following and started growing, and obviously that attracted audience to my other songs, and been able to just continue growing from there and learning new marketing strategies, kind of learning how the world of music is changing and what direction I want to take things. Cause I mean, I don't really honestly want to be like a 30-40-year-old rapper or something. So I want to be able to like kind of take what I've learned over the years and the brand I've developed and kind of grow it into a new direction and continue obviously keeping stuff related to music, but maybe getting more into like the business side of things.
I love that song, Don't Know Love. It's a great song, a 10 out of 10 song. I can see why it's a very popular song that you have.
Working on a remix to it now with some big artists, or a big artist, yeah, and then we're going to try to get 2 big artists on it. So having a producer reproduce it and obviously keep it very similar to how it was, but and then get to like a singer and then another rapper on it.
That'd be awesome. How do you have any sort of time frame for when you'd like that to be out, or is that like way too far in the future to plan right now?
No, I think like early 2022. I mean, it's going to be its 4-year anniversary in March of 2022. So it'd be kind of cool to get it out around that time. And it's going to be hitting 10 million streams on Spotify, probably like January or February, I would say.
Did you ever think that when you first started, you'd have a song that has 10 million views?
Oh, I mean, I thought once I hit 1 million views, I'd be rich and I'd be able to quit my job. I thought like 1 million views was like, all right, you're definitely famous now. But no, I mean, the music industry's changed a lot, but I definitely didn't think 10 million. I mean, and like I have almost 50 million total, like across all my songs. So
that's awesome. That's something you should be super proud of.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool I mean, a lot of my music was like in regards to mental health and related to mental health, like in my past music and all that. Even Don't Know Love, I mean, I focused on relationship songs and like helping people get through relationships and all that and being relatable. And I get DMs all the time and messages all the time from people across the world about how the music's helped them and helped them get through relationships and helped them or prevented them from committing suicide, stuff like that. So a lot of powerful stuff, and it was pretty cool to see from just like songs I recorded in my closet.
Yeah. So let's go back to kind of the beginning a little bit here. So you talked about how like junior year in high school was when you first went really outside of your comfort zone, I can imagine, and kind of put that first song out there. How tough was that?
It was definitely, I mean, I'm definitely more of an introvert. So, and even though my career is being in the center of attention, like at points, I don't like being the center of attention. Like I'm more of a quieter kid, or especially in high school. I mean, I've came out of my shell a lot since then, but, so it was definitely it was nerve wracking and I think I showed friends beforehand that kind of built my confidence up before. So I was having people saying like, oh, you should definitely share this. Like, this is going to be like, people are going to like, this is sick. And I had friends kind of doing the same thing. So it was good to have like moral support in the background to help me get the courage to do it. And I mean, it was good. I mean, people were surprised. It seemed like surprised in a good way. And it was definitely like I was definitely dealing with both like the negative side of the comments and the positives. So I don't think a lot of people like that felt luckily I was like a newer kid in school. So I don't think a lot of people that felt negative about my music was really like knew me enough to like share it, or I mean, my school wasn't like that. So I felt like even though they probably didn't like it, I mean, they kept to themselves, which was nice. But no, I think it was a good experience. I mean, haters, you're gonna deal with them. I used to get hate all the time, like especially, I mean, still, I mean, you see other mostly internet people you don't know. So it's good to deal with, and I've learned to deal with it fine. But yeah, it was good to break out of that comfort zone and help me like jumpstart my like career into music industry, and it was addicting. Like once you put something out and you get good feedback and you get people like wanting more, it's definitely an addicting feeling.
I feel like in high school, that's like a whole nother area of going outside your comfort zone. Because now, say now you put something out and say you have like no following or anything, like you just have, your college friends or whatever the case may be. If you put something out now, it's like, some people will watch it, but most of the people I feel probably aren't going to care as much. But in high school, I feel like kids are ruthless. They're like, oh, let's make fun of this kid because we have nothing better to do. We get out of practice at 4, we get out of school at 2. Let's just go make fun of him and ride him into the ground, which really sucks when you think about it. Like,
no, I mean, my friends were definitely like we were part like I was friends with all the popular kids, so and I kept it like that. Like, I mean, I wasn't mean to anyone else. Like,
Right.
I was nice all around, but my main friend group was the popular kids, so I wasn't really a big target in that sense. But I mean, I definitely still felt it from like the upperclassmen, and I had like, yeah, I definitely had some like stuff going around with some songs. Like, I think I had a tagline saying like, "Oh, Jay Wright," or like something like that, or "Hey, it's Jay Wright," and like just like people just like go around, or like I said, "Turn me up in your headphones." I think in one of my old songs, I was like, "Jay Wright, turn me up in your headphones." So like people would just go around school saying, "Hey, turn me up in your headphones." So that was just like something that I would get shit on. But other than that, I mean, it was good. I mean, it's if you can't handle it, if you can't handle the negativity, it's definitely not the industry to be in.
I think that's the truth because there's always going to be some sort of critic out there.
For sure.
Now, how much of an influence did your dad have on this music career?
I think pretty significant. I always like just being surrounded with music and having that kind of creative mindset and like having that passion. I think he really drove that. Obviously, he was doing a completely different type of music, and I think he was in like a kids band. So his the lead singer for his band like just sang like children's songs. So I mean, definitely different type. And I mean, I grew up on his music, and he performed at like this big pumpkin festival and in our local town nearby. So and he brought me on stage. So that definitely, I think, provided a drive to get into music. Actually, Nick, my cousin Nick, he used to rap a lot.
Did he? You probably sucked. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he used to rap, and same with my other cousin Justin. They both used to like rap, and having my dad like already being interested in music because my dad, and then having like I was more into hip hop than any rock or anything at the time, and then just seeing how Nick could kind of go and make his own song. That those two combined really what made me interested, because I thought it was impossible. I didn't know it was possible to like record your own music and make beat or like take beats from online or buy beats online or do anything like that. I wasn't really clear about that industry. I thought you had to like go into a recording studio, or I thought you had to like actually pay all that. But Nick had more of that background, and I saw him doing it, asked him about it, and that's kind of how I got right into it.
Do you think you necessarily would have gone as far with it as you did if Nick and Justin weren't around at all? Because you said that opened up a whole another avenue of possibilities.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would have really. I don't know. It might have taken me longer. yeah, I mean, I might have figured it out, or I got into like the lyric side of things and started figuring out on my own about how to find beats. I'm sure I would. I mean, it's so music and being creative has always been like a passion of mine and really been in my blood. So I feel like I would eventually figure it out, but maybe not. I wouldn't have like the structure or the direction as I would have without having them like kind of paving the way.
That makes a lot of sense because it almost gives like structure to what you're doing because you might just be throwing stuff together, being like, yeah, this is cool. Look at this. I made this. But all of a sudden, you see someone else doing it at a higher level. It almost motivates you in a way to keep going and really puts things, like you said, into perspective and just continue on that grind and really, I guess, put all your dreams into reality.
No, I'd say so.
What's your favorite song or album that you've recorded? If you had to pick one.
Favorite song? Let's see. I would say, I mean, obviously, Don't Know Love will always be like a top one for me because it really helped me grow and it's done the most for me for my career. I haven't had any song come close to it yet. I'd say usually I'd say like the song I'm working on now is my favorite song just because I tend to like try to put my all into each song I write. So if I don't like the song I'm writing, or if I don't think it's gonna be like a top 10 song, I'm just gonna quickly get out of it, or lose interest in writing it. So typically the song I'm working on currently is my current favorite song, and then it just kind of keeps going from there. But I would say, yeah, Don't Know Love would be my top just because of what it did for my career. Album would be my Rain and Fire album. It's the album I put the most work into. I had a strong backing. I did like a distribution deal with this company in New York, and they flew me out there, and we shot some music videos for it, and they put a lot of money into the marketing and helped me kind of grow and promote it as much as possible. So just that whole experience of actually having a corporate company, $1 million company, like put money into you to really and believe in you to like really push it as hard as it can was a really cool concept. And I thought that was like something you only could have if you're signed or you're a part of a record label. But and I was always like I've had offers to be on record labels, and I was always very like uh specific on what they were going to offer and what I was going to take. Like I definitely know the business side of things to a point. So I know like with record labels, you can easily get screwed over. So I've had a few offers and I never taken one before. I was very close to doing like a 50-50 deal, but then 1RPM came up, and that's the distribution deal I did for my album. And they were able to do a lot of things the record label was going to do anyways, but not take as much of a cut and not have as much of a commitment to releasing other songs. So yeah, I would say Rain and Fire, just because of the experience it gave me, and then Don't Know Love.
Now, talk a little bit about the experience of flying out to New York because that sounds like a really cool story.
Yeah, no. So it was my manager Matt. He has connections with 1RPM, which is how we got this opportunity. And part of the deal, we wanted a budget for music videos and marketing. So they gave me a pretty solid budget, and travel, obviously. So they gave me pretty solid budget. And our 1RPM, they have an in-house video studio at their headquarters in New York. And they have like an on-site videographer and photographer and all that. So instead of taking the money and having to pay like a videographer to do the music video for me, like around the location I'm at, they said, how about you just use the money to travel to New York, that you were going to pay the videographer, and then we'll shoot your music videos for free. And then you can come and meet the team, and we can brainstorm ideas on the album and all that at our headquarters. And it was around Halloween time, I think. So they invited us to like the corporate Halloween party too. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so me and my manager flew out there. We got an Airbnb, I believe, in Brooklyn. around that area. And then we had like, I think we are there for like 4 days or so. And we were able to like link up. My manager knows a lot of people. So he knew some people at venues and like venue promoters or some musicians that were performing around the area. So we got to go to the venues and introduce myself and network a bit and meet the different musicians like touring around that area. And then we filmed, I think, 2 or 3 days of music video shoots. I think it was like 4 hours a day, and knocked off 2 songs. So my Living Well music video and then my Changes music video were both the videos we shot in New York. And then it was really cool to like actually be in like a video studio, being able to go out and check out New York and be around fellow musicians and promoters and people in the industry and people in like the business side of the industry as well. Definitely got me out of my shell because I had to like perform my song in the streets of New York with like hundreds of people walking by, like doing a music video shoot in front of everyone. So definitely helped me get out of my shell and feel like this is, if I really want to make a good product and if I want to make this my career, I can't like choke or I can't I can't let anything else get in the way of that. And it definitely helped me break out of that shell and I felt comfortable doing it and there was no issue and got a lot of cool content and met a lot of cool people, and it definitely grew me as a musician a bit, to be out there and actually get like the treatment, like an artist treatment of what it's like to get flown out by a label or something like that.
How'd you feel when you came back from New York after that trip and after that experience?
It was definitely hard. I mean, I lived in like a quiet town in Georgia at the time, and I couldn't really, I was so focused on like the business and performing and all that side. I couldn't really write like songs I got like writer's block for a few, for like a week or so, just because I was still like in the mindset of like the hyped up like mindset of being in New York and doing the more performance side and talking business with artists and getting in there. So definitely it took me a little bit to get back and adjust to like a more of a quiet, but I definitely felt more motivated than ever to continue like creating content and pushing my music out and all that. But yeah, it was definitely a cool experience all around.
I can imagine the writer's block thing and just the awe he must have been in. Like when you get home, sit down on your couch and you're like, wow, that really just happened. Like I just lived that dream. Like that's things people would kill for and I was just able to go do it. So that must have been such a cool experience.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was amazing.
But what were you doing before you were doing this full time? Or were you always doing it full time because you started so young and you were able to kind of come up with it?
No, I was definitely not doing it always full time. I was I worked full time for a while. Um, I got into recruiting right after college, so I became a recruiter at a staffing agency, um, and worked full time there while I was doing music. Majority of my career, I've had to balance a full time job and music. And yeah, I just kind of worked my way up within the company, worked to like a manager role or strategic manager role. Moved to Georgia. They didn't want to lose me, so they let me work remote in Georgia, and I became like a senior strategic manager over there, and managed like a few bunch of different companies that we worked with. So it was cool. I mean, it gave me more business, and that company actually. They knew I was an artist and they knew I was a rapper, and I made a few like songs for the company because we had like some promotions or some advertising or marketing promotion thing going on, and they wanted to have like the most talented like branch of our company. So my boss had me like write like a rap for my company, and I did, and they actually flew me out to Vienna, Austria, for like their global corporate event where I performed in front of like 300 executives out there, and got to stay in Austria, Vienna, Austria for a week, which was kind of cool, and go do all the tourist stuff. So that was a cool experience that music like provided me that was unexpected because it was in my corporate job, that like no one really did music or had anything creative going on outside their work life. But that kind of presented itself, and they flew me out. So they flew me out to Vienna, Austria, and then they flew me to Jacksonville, Florida, for like another corporate work event that they wanted me to perform at.
Wow.
So
What were those trips like? Were those just as surreal as the New York trip?
yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it was not as music focused, because obviously you're with all your. I mean, I didn't go with my boss or anything to Vienna. They only flew me out, and it was with like the CEO of our company and like the president and like a bunch of executives. So being around them, obviously, it was a different environment than being in New York with a bunch of music people. So, but it was still a really cool experience because they gave like a full tour of Vienna, and was able to meet. Um, they actually flew out like 10 other people across the world, because the company I worked at was like a global company. So 10 other people across the world, that also had like a talent that they submitted to the company, and won the trip. So a lot of singers, like not anyone that like wrote their own music, but a lot of like cover artists, like singers that just had like a naturally good voice and could like cover a song. So I got to like meet a lot of other colleagues within the company that are from different parts of the world and are like interested in music, not as like dedicated as I was, and not as like I was at that point. My goal was to be able to quit my job and work music full time. A lot of these other people were just doing it for fun, like a hobby. So it was definitely not as like we didn't connect at that level, but it was still cool people to be around, and made a lot of cool friends during that trip. But yeah, that was probably the most unique experience I've ever had, going to Vienna, just because I've never been outside the United States. Well, I've been to like the tropical areas around like outside the United States, but never been to like Europe or anywhere around that region before. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds awesome. Now, did you always have the business mindset of things, or were you just kind of like doing it to see what happens?
I quickly got the business mindset once I started working corporate, like working at a job, like a business job, and like being around that. And I mean, I've always had like I knew what was right and wrong. I knew when I was gonna get screwed over, and I always was someone that liked to look at everything I was getting into, and be able to review. And but I didn't really treat music like a business until really I started getting into my full time job, and kind of understanding the structure of any business, and like how any business should work, like the marketing side of things, the sales, the pitching, the um, accounting side, everything, keeping everything all together. And that's when I got into that mindset of treating my music like a business, where I needed to make sure I was marketing correctly, make sure I was keeping track of my finances and what my budget of marketing budget and my budget to like put into new like projects and new music videos and stuff like that. And then the money I wanted to like keep for my own use and all that. So it definitely helped me figure out that structure of business, and grow that way, I would say.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the marketing side of things. How do you go about marketing yourself for new songs or albums you're dropping? I really want to hear about that.
Yeah, so I really dug deep into it when I met this artist Lucidius. He's based at LA, and he's pretty much like a very knowledgeable he's an artist, he's a rapper, but he's very knowledgeable in marketing. And he is friends with this other music guru guy that he just like understands music business very well. So Lucidius also kind of reached out to me because he really liked my song "Don't Know Love," and we started talking. And I asked him how he's been able to like grow his fan base, because he has like 100,000 followers on Spotify, like 150,000 Instagram followers, and like 500,000 monthly listeners, which is like all this Spotify, the people that listen to your music. I have like 250,000, so he's like double mine. So I just asked him about how he like grew it, and he said, "Oh, I do targeted marketing, and I focus. I have like this unique way to really like drive people to my page and get as many eyes that are related to my music and would be interested in my music." And he said he was like starting like this class or this course that would help smaller artists and up and coming artists learn the marketing he does. So I joined his course like in the very beginning. So it was like, I think I had to pay like $400 to do it. And then he taught about like the targeted marketing and how like a lot of people promote on Facebook and how Facebook is very oversaturated right now. So how he does it is he does targeted marketing on Instagram swipe up links. So and he just showed how to like cut up the video and how to put in like 4 or 5 different clips from the same music video and see which one gets the most traction and which one really drives most listeners. And so I did that. I invested about $6,000 over the year I was marketing into like Facebook ads. So I put like 6,000 between like Apple Music, Instagram, and Spotify. And I did that for a year. And I think when I started, I was at like 13,000 Spotify followers. And when I ended, I was at like 30,000 Spotify followers in a year. And I think my monthly listeners went up, like doubled. I think I was at like 150 when I started. And I don't think doubled actually, probably like just, I think I was at 150,000 monthly listeners when I started, and I ended at like 240 or something like that thousand. So, and I've been staying very consistent. But after I transitioned full time into music, I didn't have like the budget to continue putting that type of money into it. So I stopped doing that as much, and the growth of or the quickness of the growth slowed down a lot. And I've been staying consistent between like 225,000 monthly listeners and 260. And I've gotten a bigger budget since, and I still, when I do those ads, I still don't see like as good of feedback as it was. So I think it's definitely getting saturated now. So I don't think that's like the best way to do it anymore. I think I just like got in at the right time and was able to grow. Because when I tell people I've grown my Spotify following from 13,000 to 30,000 in a year with only $6,000, and I think probably only $4,000 was actually invested in Spotify. The rest was like Apple Music and Instagram. People were like, "What? Like, how do you do that?" Because I know artists paying like double that just to get 10,000 followers or something like that. So it was definitely right time, like right place, right time situation there. I'd say right now, like the best is TikTok by far is like the way to go if you're an artist and trying to grow. I think everything else right now is oversaturated. Like Instagram's dying for me personally. I mean, I like all that. It's like, I think the algorithms are kind of like whatever's happening is really affecting a lot of small artists. And not just me. I know a lot of artists that are getting affected by like their posts not getting shown to even like 5% of the followers they have. So I think TikTok is probably going to be one of the biggest things, or it already is one of the biggest things for artists, because it just takes that one video to like go viral, and then you can build a fan base off that just one video alone. So I mean, it is kind of like just swinging a bat in the dark, where you don't really know where you're hitting, but it gives like artists more of that chance that if they do come up with something creative and they come up with something that catches the viewer's attention, then they could go viral and change their life overnight. Because there's so many success stories from artists just putting out a video and going viral on Spotify or going viral on TikTok and being able to quit their job the next day because they've had over like 6 million streams or something like that.
I do wonder if that's always going to be like that because I feel like at some point TikTok's going to change this algorithm. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I remember YouTube also used to have a very favorable algorithm back in the day, or at least more favorable than what it is now. So I feel like at some point, like I think you hit it right on the head, like take advantage of it now while you still can, because now it's, you could be filming with a potato camera and it could get pushed out to like millions of people. Like I think you hit it right on the head with that, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Definitely will get oversaturated eventually, I think, with what it is. I think the next thing will be though is like like marketing with TikTok. Like if you're able to do targeted marketing with TikTok and be one of the first people to really understand how that works and how to really get your videos and songs and all that in front of the right people before everyone else figures it out. Same with like Instagram. We were able to figure out, or the guy I work with figured out that swipe ups were a lot more effective than just doing like a promoted news feed or a targeted marketing with like news feed posts or Facebook. And then eventually the Instagram swipe ups became oversaturated with everyone doing it. So I think, yeah, I mean, I've been looking into promotions, TikTok, like marketing, and I've ran a few ads. And I mean, they've gotten a decent following. I can't say they've gotten me like streams or anything on Spotify, but it has helped me grow my like TikTok account a little bit. But yeah, I think, yeah, definitely will get oversaturated, but it's really about the promotion side, the targeted marketing, I think, for new artists trying to figure that out.
Do you think you'll get to a point where you're posting TikToks on a daily basis, let's say, or anything like that?
Me personally, no. I'm not. I don't have the creative like that side of it. Like I'm musically creative, but video creative, I'm just not that type of person.
You've got to be super creative on TikTok because you basically have 3 seconds on the high end before that person swipes past it. And that's on the high end. Like it's probably more like 1.5 to 2. Like if you're not like exciting right off the jump, you're like, okay, bye.
I know.
Which is crazy to think about. I wonder what that's actually going to do to kids that are in the up and coming generation because their attention spans, I would think, are going to be completely ruined.
Yeah, no, I mean, as a music artist now, you have to be not only a music artist, but you have to be like just an influencer. You have to be someone that has a personality that connects. I mean, obviously, you've always had to have that type of personality, but right now, it's like even more so where you have to be the center of attention. You have to push yourself out there, and you have to be someone that's not only good at music, but also funny or also creative in the video side of things. Because yeah, it used to be only like if you had a good song, it could help you. And obviously with social media, before social media, it wasn't really about like people didn't really know what an artist was doing at that time. But nowadays, like you can check artists' stories, Instagram stories. You can know exactly what they're doing any second of the day. So, and it's only getting worse. So it's going to continue growing, and artists that don't show that side of their life and don't have that openness or that entertainment side, the video entertainment side, aren't going to succeed as well as the artists that have that funny or creative video entertainment side of things, as well as the music. And I mean, there's even artists that have terrible music, but are successful because of their creative side of like the videos and being able to create clickbait or just like click worthy content.
How often do you come out with a new song, and how often do you come out with a new album?
New songs. Well, over the past 2 years, I was dropping a song like every 2 weeks.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, no, I was grinding, and that was mostly because of quarantine. I just didn't really have anything else to do.
There's worse things you could be doing.
I've kind of burnt myself out. So don't. The last song, "Dead Lighthouse," is gonna be like my last song for probably at least like 6 or 7 months. So I probably won't drop anything. Oh, I think the Don't Know Love remix will be the next song I drop. So whenever that comes out, March or April, will probably be the next single I'm going to drop. And then I'm working on an album right now. So that the next album I'll drop will probably be I feel like I'm not really sure yet. I have to get everything together, but probably around the spring, summer.
Talk to me about the process of putting together an album from like very start to very finish. From like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and start writing the lyrics to okay, done. I can download it on Spotify right now.
Yeah, so kind of, I mean, started my album. I think I already had probably like 4 or 5 songs or 3 or 4 songs done from like past singles I've wrote, and I just haven't released them yet, and I felt like they would fit better on a project. But right now I'm kind of changing my brand and changing my like type of songs. I used to rap, but I'm kind of steering completely away from rapping on the next album and project I drop. So now I'm really trying to find producers and artists to collab with that fit that new style. So right now I think I'm about halfway done the album. I have like 6 songs, I think, ready, 6 or 7 songs. Um, and I team up with my co-writer Joey. He's another artist. He actually was on the last song I dropped, "The Dead Lighthouse," and he helped fine tune some of those lyrics. He like sang backgrounds on that last song I dropped. But we write usually every week to every other week, and we he's been helping me like find, or he's a producer as well, so he's been sending me beats of his own, and we've been writing a lot of music together, and focus more on like the pop side of things and singer songwriter side of things. So we've been writing that. So processes, obviously, write. I usually record maybe 2 songs at a time, or wait till I have at least 1 or 2 songs completely written, and then record that process. I do that all in my like home studio, and then usually we'll start sending it out to the mixing master engineer when I have like 2 or 3 songs recorded and ready to go. And then yeah, once I have the whole project together, I'm gonna brainstorm. I have to brainstorm a title for the project because I have no clue yet. I have like some general ideas for it, and then cover art and music video content and photo content that I want to get out that I have ready. So I'll probably have to do photo shoots, all that, and then marketing. Possibly will release it with another either label or distribution company, like a one-off deal. So I'll have to figure out like the marketing side of things and make sure my marketing strategy and all that, and the way I'm going to push it out to the audience is tight, and then that's when I'll plan a release date. So a lot of different steps, but typically right now I'm just on the writing stage of everything.
Talk to me about the lyrics, because I feel like that could be very stressful. How long does it take you to write a song?
Depends on the song. I usually will get a good idea of like the beat or the instrumental I'm working on is going to be a good fit, or if it's going to create inspiration. Usually I'll have like the beat I listen to will spark inspiration on where the direction of the song is going. Lately it probably takes me like a day or two, or yeah, usually total hours are probably like 5 or 6 hours to write a song. with the help of Joey, who's the co-writer. By myself could take a few days, could take a week, could take a month. It really depends on how much I'm feeling the song and where I am mentally, if it really fits with how I'm feeling and all that. So it's hard to say, but yeah, I usually will get the inspiration from the beat, whatever beat I'm listening to, or whatever the melody is and all that. And I'll kind of just spark what I want to write about. And um, I'll start taking the direction. And usually typically I start with the chorus. Sometimes I'll start with the verse, but typically I'll start with the chorus to create like a catchy melody, and like chorus really like is the structure where the song's going to go. So it really ties in all the verses and all that. So I start with that, so then I can easily have more of a direction when I'm working on the verses.
Was it harder when you first started? I would imagine, right?
No, probably actually
Really?
not, because I didn't know I knew I wasn't as good as I knew I had to improve, but I still like didn't understand like the flows, the different flows and the structures of songs and what creates a good song. So now that I know all that, I mean, it's definitely not, I would say it's the same. Like sometimes it's easier to write because I've been doing it for so long. But in the past, like I just didn't understand the structure of the song. So I would just write really quickly and think it's good and just write rhymes together and do it. And I thought, oh, this is how a rap song's supposed to go, but definitely not. It takes a lot more of like being able to transition and know the melodies to use and the type of like how fast you want to go, how slow you want to go, what would sound good to the listener. So there's a lot more to it than I originally thought. And I've learned that over the years. And especially now I'm transitioning to a new style of music. So I'm still teaching myself like the best ways to go about it and continue my growth that way. So
How's that been going, that transition?
good. Yeah, I think it definitely fits me better. I just I mean I love rap. I love doing rap, and I got good at like the flow side of things and being able to write or rap fast and switch the flow up and create punchlines and all that. But I think this more melody side, I mean, I like the music better personally. Like I enjoy listening to it more, and I just think it fits me and my style better than the harder rap stuff.
How long did you debate transitioning before you actually did?
I didn't really debate. It kind of just started happening naturally. As I started writing songs, I kind of just was drawn to more of like the melodic melody, like catchy pop stuff, singer songwriter stuff, like more and more as I think it started last summer. I really started getting into that when I wrote with Sammy Adams and all that stuff. So that, and it just kind of gradually grew over time. So I didn't really plan it out. It kind of just happened.
How was that experience, meeting and hanging out with Sammy Adams?
Good. Yeah. I never hung out with him, but we had a bunch of different phone conversations, and he's a really cool guy. Definitely down to earth, definitely knows the music business very well. Very knowledgeable with that. And yeah, really talented with what he can do. I'm surprised he hasn't really pushed his music out. Like he's been kind of quiet for the past year or two. So I'm surprised because I thought when we spoke, he sounded like he had a lot that he was ready to release. But yeah, I haven't spoke with him in a while, but he was very like helped me like understand things. We talked, I think, for like an hour one time, and he just kind of went over like the music business and that different side of things and his experience working with like a record label and meeting all these executives like and meeting like famous artists and all that stuff. So it's a cool experience to be able to, and main thing was cool is that he used to be like an idol. Like I used to listen to his music in high school or like middle school and way before I even like thought I could get close to that point. So someone I listened to like consistently in high school and consistently and was an inspiration while I was writing my own music. It was cool to be able to consider him like a peer and a coworker almost, where we're working on the same thing together and collaborating and all that.
Were you like starstruck at all the first time you talked to him?
No, I mean, I would say I was a little nervous because I didn't know what to expect, because obviously
Yeah.
some people can be very cocky, like some hire like people that think they're famous can be very cocky and have a big ego and don't really treat you well. But no, he was very down to earth, and was like a normal person, and yeah, it was very easy to talk to. So I think it lasted probably like 5 seconds, and then we just started talking about music.
Nice. That's the best. So a couple more things here before I let you go. First off, talk to me a little bit about your clothing line. What happened to that? Because I went on your website and it said launch February 24th, 2020. I thought, oh, I wonder what happened. So are you kind of done with clothing? Do you have any plans to launch anything anytime soon? Talk to me about that side of the business.
Yeah, so I launched that in February 2020. And I did put a lot into that, and I like did marketing campaigns, and that was right around the same time I quit my job. So I was definitely banking on it a lot. And then COVID happened, and we had to kind of shut down. Like, couldn't really ship overseas, and majority of the people that wanted to buy my stuff wanted to like were overseas, and with people losing their jobs and not being able to afford it anymore, because my prices weren't cheap. I mean, I was selling long sleeves for like $40, and I think my t-shirts were like 25, which wasn't like extremely expensive, but still, like, it's not like $10 t-shirt or $25 long sleeve. So I could see the customer base decline pretty quickly, stop, like the orders really halted pretty quickly once COVID happened, and people were trying to figure out what the heck they're doing, and their routines were getting all messed up, and people losing their jobs and not being able to ship overseas as much, or there was more restrictions on overseas shipping. So I decided just to put it on hold and wait until COVID stopped. And at that point, I mean, they were just saying, oh, we're going to be on quarantine for like 3 or 4 months, 3 months, and whatever, 2 or 3 months. And then we're going to be, then we're going to be back to normal, and the world's going to go back to normal. So I thought, oh, it's only going to be like a 2 month break, whatever. And then it just never ended. and
And here we are.
and I kind of just like lost the motivation to really push it again. And I got into other stuff with music and created like I partnered up with like a music tech company on a few stuff, and got distracted with the music side of things. And yeah, just kind of lost interest in the clothing. I mean, I still have a bunch of clothes, and I use them for like, I definitely lost a significant amount of money, and I might still like sell them for cheap eventually once COVID's completely, or once the restrictions overseas and stuff lift. But I would say, yeah, I use it for like promotion and giveaways and stuff like that here and there. I'm kind of over it. I was or over the money I lost, so I kind of just do it for giveaways.
Clothing's something I would not want to get into. I feel like there's so many headaches that come with it. It's completely insane.
I was, yeah, originally really like motivated, and really like I studied countless hours like on how to do shipments, how to use Shopify, and how to set up like printing labels, like all this stuff. And then I yeah, kind of just lost interest after having to shut it down, and losing a lot of the business because of COVID. So I just kind of, yeah, lost the drive to put in all that effort again to really kick it back up. Because yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong. There's like shipping errors, or there's just having to be there constantly to get things shipped out, or a bunch of stuff. So definitely is a headache. And yeah, definitely would not want to be in the clothing industry now that I know.
Especially right now with all the supply chain issues, it's like I can only imagine the additional stress thrown on top of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would only do it if like I would do drop shipping or like the on-demand shipping, like the Printful or like like those Teespring things, like people that you don't handle it, you just like do the put the artwork on the shirt and then they buy it from that company and the company will
Yeah.
print it out and send it to them. Like I would do that, but and I kind of wish I was able to like take my clothing that I have in my closet and give that to a company to do that for me because then I would be more inclined to like start promoting it again. But yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do it myself again.
Last question for you before I let you go. Where do you want to be with this music in 5 years? What is your goal, analytics wise, downloads, just listeners, anything in general? Where do you want to be with it?
I mean, ideally, I definitely want to break like 500,000 monthly listeners. That'd be awesome. 5 years. I mean, I would say I'm going to start kind of leaning towards the business side of things. Like I've already had come up with different music ideas. I partnered up with a startup, like I was saying. It was like an app that helped was able to allow smaller artists to purchase or allow famous artists to review smaller artist music. So say you're like a up and coming artist, like when I'm back in high school, like me, and I want to get like Sammy Adams to review my song, which we have Sammy Adams on the site. I would like pay him to listen to my song and give like a 10-question critique on it and a video of him listening to the song, kind of like Cameo. So I partnered up with a small startup. They weren't that small actually. They had some pretty good amount of budget and all that, but they developed it. They did it all for free. And the CEO was one of my good friends. And we launched it and did well, but it wasn't executed because there was a lot of stuff going on his business side and in the background. So it wasn't executed properly. And once it was really good developed, like the development went great and they really put in a lot of work. But once it actually launched, it kind of lined up with them having some business issues. So ended up not being executed and not getting like the version 2 never came out for the site and marketing kind of died down and all that. And then their company just recently closed their doors. So I have this app or this thing that I have now. So I'm going to either have him help me sell it or work with another company that could help bring it to life. So I have like different ideas like that, still music related, but more business side. So my goal is to really just keep innovating and keep creating new ideas within music, and obviously stay steady with my music, my own personal music and my growth with that, and continue the following growth and all that. But it's not like as big of a goal as mine to like become like the next G-Eazy or the next Eminem, like, or anything like that. Like that's not really the realistic goal I have. I wouldn't want to tour 6 months out of the year. Like that would not be something I'd want to do, to be honest. Now that would just be kind of tiring. And I just want to do something related to music and the industry, like the entertainment industry, but something that kind of fits my lifestyle more and more on the business side and entrepreneurial side of things, I would say.
Josh, thanks so much for coming on. I really had a great time sitting down and talking with you. Where can people find out more about you, or if they want to listen to their music, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can look me up on Spotify, which is J-Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. So, I mean, pretty much across all socials is J Wright for like streaming platforms like YouTube and all that. And then my handles for my Instagram, it's ITSJ_Wright. So it's J Wright or J_Wright. Same with Twitter. And yeah, I think that was it.
All of Josh's stuff will be linked down below in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.